Werewolves traditionally represent probably one of the first stories told around the fire in the cave.
The first signs we have of this lore, the shapeshifter lore, is really, really ancient. From back in the Stone Age, from France in 30,000 BC, they painted animals and they painted magicians shape-shifting into those animals. And the reason that lore is there is that it was really a valuable ability on their part to look like and be able to act like animals. Because the more they could do that, the closer they could get to the animal itself. In the Middle Ages in Europe, all these thousands of years later, it was a whole different picture.
In cultures that were set up around Christianity and the church, anything that possesses the human vessel, which is made in the image of God and has a soul that was given by God himself, would be a corruption. So if, for example, you transformed into an animal, that would be a corruption of the holy vessel and holy soul of a human being. And that, of course, would be considered a curse.
There was a curse in European culture, sure, because it was something that the individual couldn't control, and this is really very much reflected in the modern entertainment literature.
There's many, many ways to become a werewolf in mythology and lore. There are certain flowers that, if you innocently pluck it in the forest, you become a werewolf. If you drink water from the track of a wolf, you become a werewolf. If you eat a wolf's brain, then you become a werewolf. The Hollywood version created a Universal, which is getting bit by another werewolf. That comes from the vampire legend. So Hollywood created its own myth. I mean, all myths are created to fill some kind of need, and Hollywood certainly had a commercial need to create werewolf myths. They wanted it to seem logical in the 1930s and 40s.
She says she has no idea what I'm talking about.
She's lying.
Or maybe she really doesn't know she's changing, you know? Maybe when the creature takes over, she blacks out.
Like a really hot, incredible Hulk.
There are different beliefs about werewolves. Some of the beliefs propose that they're people who voluntarily become werewolves, and there are other beliefs that propose that people become werewolves involuntarily.
These mythologies kind of take on a life of their own sometimes, and in this specific case, she has no idea that it's happening to her. And that's kind of the version of this that we play, that she's a monster without knowing she's a monster.
I don't remember anything. I probably killed someone last night.
In our world, anything that changes shape from one thing and another can be disrupted or wasted by silver. Actually, spirits are repelled by silver. There's a lot of lore how demons are repelled by silver.
Any silver implement, a silver bullet, a silver knife, a silver cane, can be used to kill an evil creature, especially if that silver is blessed by the church.
The werewolves are badass. We haven't seen one since we were kids.
Okay, Sparky.
You know what the best part about it is? We already know how to bring these suckers down. One of these bad boys right to the heart.
There's just something about a silver bullet that kind of feels really pure and really cool, doesn't it? I mean, it's very believable somehow that a silver bullet could pierce the supernatural barrier, as it were.
I think the reason that werewolves are so popular is because we really relate to them, and we're afraid of them because werewolves are not that different from people in certain ways. If you've ever experienced a moment of being so angry that you see red, if you've ever been cut off in traffic and you really just wanted to kill the person who cut you off in traffic, then you can relate to werewolves, I think.
The scariest monster is the monster you face in the mirror, and all monsters are our internal fears and anxieties made manifest. That's what makes the great monsters great. So it's like, what creatures can we create that will really touch a nerve? How do we make their inner demons external? Because that's the best horror. Werewolves totally fall under that. Werewolves is a story about primal man living in a civilized shell.
This is such a deep instinct with us. Bring the power of the animal into the human world. Shapeshift into a more powerful animal. Let your anger come out in the form of a wolf. These are seductive things.